Happy preseason football, drafters. It's Dan, it's JP. It is Thursday, August 6th, and that means that the NFL is back. Preseason football getting started, so you get to watch a bunch of guys who probably won't even make a roster because both Arizona and Carolina have basically come out saying starters aren't playing, which is the usual way things go because this is always the early week. It's the early game. I don't even know how they go about choosing the teams for this usually, but we will get to see.
Yes, you
do. I don't remember. What is it?
Dude.
Now I'm hitting you for it.
No. Hold on. Don't tell me if you Google it. I want to see if I can remember it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to now that you mentioned it.
There's a specific thing that determines the two teams. So who is it? Carolina and Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's something to do with the way that I'm never going to come up with it.
Okay, so typically it looks like they are tied in a little bit with the players or figures being inducted into the Hall of Fame that year.
Yes, sorry, that's what it is. It has to be two teams. Yes, that is correct.
Hypothetically.
So it's because you obviously have Larry Fitzgerald and who from Carolina?
I mean, is Kuechly? Is this year, or was he already in? He's already in.
I thought he was already in.
Maybe.
Julius Pepper's got to be.
This is where we're at right now, man. Jeez.
Cam Newton? No, he ain't.
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame. That's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
2026 Hall of Fame inductees.
We'll see if I talk about him
baseball.
today.
That's baseball. It's not going to help me out at all.
Well, I guess while you're doing that, I just realized one of my bottles, I can't even pop the cork because I got the...
Yeah, it's 26. It is Kuechly. Yeah, Kuechly and Fitzy.
Wow.
So it is this year. You just wanted him in for
awesome
the best,
players.
You know. You've just wanted him in ever since he was eligible. So,
he was already in the he was already in JP's Hall of Fame.
Right. And again, that's
can I not
this weekend? I don't know, but I'm loving the struggle that you've got right now. That is this weekend, by the way, the Hall of Fame, enshrinement ceremony, if you will, and it is Drew Brees, it's Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, Roger Craig. Roger Craig obviously isn't going to make our list. Kickers aren't going to make our list either. Sorry, Adam. I think he technically came in before 98 anyways. Kuechly, already talked about him. Larry Fitz, already talked about him. Drew Brees, might talk about him in the future. So we'll see what comes out of that. But again, those two teams that we talked about, it's so great to have the NFL back, but just don't expect a ton of amazing stats coming out of this game for players that you're going to be paying attention to. It's going to be a great first effort, but Carson Beck is starting for the Cardinals, so that's just good. Apparently, he had a great 2-minute drill, according to some people, although I watched all those throws, and about half of them were good, and half of them would have either been picked off or were off target or would have probably gotten broken up in an actual game. So, oh well, there you go. Should be fun. Did you finally get through those bottles?
I did. Now I'm just to not make it super loud by rotating them on the table. I'm rotating them in my hands under the table.
All right.
So that I don't know which one's which. And I'm glad that you started talking to me during it because when you're doing this in the back of your mind, you have to keep doing it over and over and over until you literally forget which one's which.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was talking to you, it only took like 3 turns and I already didn't know, and I did it like 10 more times. So I have no clue. I have no clue now.
And yeah, you've got a really fun heads up that you'll be doing. We'll talk about which two those are later on. I have a beast of a beer myself, so it should be a good time. But cheers to football coming back into the public consciousness. Actual gameplay happening. Of course, this is the only one for this week. And then next week is when we get into everybody else gets started in the preseason, including the Detroit Lions. Oh, that is a sipper. Okay. Interesting.
Mine's a
interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about this one yet. We'll see. See as it opens up. Well, I know how we feel about this series we've been doing so far. I've actually had a lot of banter with people when they've asked about this show of like, oh, who for this, who for that, for different teams, and pointing out how hilarious it's been for some of these schools. Like, you might think a school has a lot of good players, and then you go and dissect it, and it just doesn't. However, today, we're in the SEC.
And you know what just real quick before we get going on it, just to go on your banter with that, like my banter hasn't been with other people, but it's been in like my own head. I'm starting to wonder if there's obviously this is a huge window of time.
Sure.
From 98 to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of backs up the argument too, because even going that big of a window of time, I'm noticing that when I get to certain schools, There's a theme. Sometimes there's 2 and 3 of the same NFL franchise drafts from this school.
Yeah.
So it almost makes me wonder if a franchise or maybe even a coach, because maybe they move, like, what if you use some sort of algorithm to figure out that, like, do certain NFL teams, like, have their colleges that they, like, gravitate to? That'd make it interesting for, like, mock draft season. That'd be some tiebreakers. Be like, well, something's going on here. Like the Miami Dolphins, their owner being from Michigan. Like, you would think that would be something, but I haven't done Michigan yet. So
no, we've also made references, though, and this is the
Jake
team that
Long
I'm starting off.
Jake Long went to Michigan.
True. Yeah.
He's from mine, so we'll see when we get there. But yeah, I noticed. I don't know about today because I haven't like read through them on the show yet. But I noticed on the previous shows, I have mentioned many times, like, wow, this team really likes this school. Like,
we've joked about even in Detroit, with Brad Holmes being an Alabama fan.
Yeah, lately it's Bama and Michigan now.
Yeah. Now, mind you, all of those are not guys we're talking about today because that's after our window when Holmes got in.
You know what I mean? Like, how many Michigan guys has Brad Holmes drafted and or brought in free agency now? 4?
At least, yeah. Yeah, and he's got a good handful of Alabama players as well. And
About
Alabama,
4 Bama guys. Well, one less Bama player now.
Yeah, right. That's a whole other story. He's not on this list either. But Alabama, the Crimson Tide, are part of today because it is SEC time. And for those of you who want to debate the best conference, SEC, Big Ten, look, it's the two of them. And the SEC has turned out a ton of talent, but it has not always been uniform across all the schools. And we're going to find that out today because you have to start out with one that was a little bit harder than the one that I had to start out with. And they're both from the same state.
They are. And, Auburn was very tough, and I didn't think it was going to be that tough. So this is a classic of because we chose to do 6-packs, and you have to get there. There are a few that I wasn't that high on. There's really only 3. 3 of these players I just put on there because they were next on the list, but I wasn't thrilled about them being on my list. So let's just get into it. Coming in at 6th spot for Auburn, 2005 running back Ronnie Brown, first-round pick to the Dolphins, and that was
number 2
parlay.
Number 2 overall.
He went number 2.
Yup.
Why?
Because it was 2005.
He was a running back,
cool.
But when was he cool?
I
didn't think he was a. I wouldn't, like I said, he's one of the 3 that I wasn't thrilled to be in my top 6. Just saying, I guess that big. Also it and goes into why. Like Auburn. Off the air, everybody. I was already trying to work a deal with Dan. I was like, I feel like I have to trade Auburn to you, just because apparently I'm a hater.
Well, I have generational
I didn't know that.
Bias against Auburn, so I can't really pick them. I'm not kidding you, dude. I've said this before. I'll remind you again. There was a time when I was a kid, we were playing Trivial Pursuit, and we could not be the orange pie wedge or pie circle because that's an Auburn color. That's how
it's also a Detroit Tigers color.
I know, but that's how stupid the people. And this is Alabama family. That's how crazy the Alabama family is about their Auburn versus Alabama thing. Can't even touch the colors.
Man. Well, let's get to 5 because same position, same team, same year. Cadillac Williams coming in at 5. Also a first-round pick.
The fifth pick. Both of them went in the top 5.
That's an interesting question. Has any other university had 2 running backs go in the first round?
Not since the 1940s. I feel like maybe some of the inside-outside guys that
produced 2 first-round running backs.
That's what I'm saying. It may have to be the 1940s.
Oh, if Jadarian Price would have come out last year, maybe. Notre Dame.
Well, yeah, fair. No, he did.
Or no, this year. No, this year we did.
Yeah,
Love
there were 2 first-rounders, yeah. Yeah, there were 2 first-rounders this year. But it was one. It was what 4 and 4 and 32 31. Though, as opposed to 31, as opposed to 2 and 5. 2 top 5 picks has definitely not happened.
Yeah, super crazy. All right, number 4, and the last one that really pains me. This one probably pains me the most because I was extremely upset on draft day on this.
Yeah,
and actually, next show, you'll probably be talking about the guy that I wanted because you already told you he's my number 1. Because I think it was the same draft. I'm just going to say it right now because I don't know if he'll even make your list, and I don't get to talk about Purdue. Ryan Kerrigan.
Oh, no, he's on there. Yeah, he's on there. Don't worry.
Oh, he'd make your 6? Okay.
Yeah, he definitely.
Well, in 2011, I desperately wanted the Detroit Lions to take Ryan Kerrigan, but here we are. He still made the list for Auburn for me. Defensive lineman Nick Fairley to the Detroit Lions, first-round pick.
In his defense, 11 and a half sacks, 24 tackles for a loss. He had a baller year, but there's just something about him that looked like it wasn't going to translate because neither of us were a big fan of him.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And you know what? It was one of those like stupid things though, where like you try to semi-talk yourself into it. And what did everybody say? Like, yeah, there's a lot of concerns with him. He's a high-risk type guy. Will he translate? Is his head in the game? Does he love football? Blah, 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 blah. And then everybody's like, but if it's going to work anywhere, it's going to work here under Jim Schwartz and next to Ndamukong Suh.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't always work. It worked with Jalen Carter and the Eagles when everybody said that, but it doesn't always work, everybody. Right. But all right, now on to the 3 that I actually did like. And this is, I brought this up before. This was also due to my buddy Jeff, who I played Madden with. This was a bandwagon. I was a big fan of him via Jeff when we played Madden because this is one of the guys that he always traded for. I remember because you could have the college game and you could import the draft class into Madden. Right.
That was one of the nice little features they made.
At DB, I would always import Antrell Roll, but his guy was always Carlos Rogers.
Okay. So, interesting.
Via him, I was a big Carlos Rogers, and he was a good prospect. I mean, it wasn't just fully because of Jeff.
Right.
But, is what it is.
That was a year for them, wasn't it?
Yeah. 2005 was a year. The top 2 were absolute slam dunks. I knew them both as soon as I got there without having actually I knew the top 3 without having to look anybody up. And I should have said this. I'm doing a long Auburn take here. I was telling you, I didn't tell anybody who listens to the show, how I try to do this is to try to pick as many guys from the school as I can from memory because then I know like I was a big fan of them. And then usually like Auburn, I got to the 3. Couldn't think of anybody else. Went and like, all right, who am I forgetting? Well, I didn't forget anybody. But then I just had to get there we go. But the top 2, number 2, 2020 defensive lineman Derek Brown, Carolina Panthers grabbed him in the first. I was a huge, huge fan. And then in 1998, man, one of the guys that got me into this thing, Takeo Spikes. Huge Takeo fan. Linebacker.
He was a beast.
Went to the Bengals first round. Yeah, big fan.
Yep. No doubt about that. Well, the flip side to that state is the Alabama Crimson Tide, and I had the opposite problem you did. I probably had like 15 Alabama guys that I could have fit that list for a top 6. And I know that you didn't feel quite as strongly about Alabama.
No, I have 2 that I know would have been on my van. I'll let you know if you've got them in there.
I know I've got one of your 2 in there. I'm not sure if I got the other one. For me, though, at the 6th spot, it was Derrick Henry. That guy was such a sledgehammer in college. I didn't know how well he'd translate to the NFL, but I figured his size and speed combo, something would have to work out for him. Obviously, I think he's been amazing in his time in the NFL. He still came in about a decade late, though. If he would have come in the late 90s, early 2000s, he probably would have been in the same breath as some of the other guys that are at the top of the list of running backs in the NFL history because he would have been used more. As it is, the fact that he's still held up, and he just said today, I think something like that, saying that he's not done. He's got a few more years left in him at 32, I think, or whatever he is now. He's definitely going to end up towards the top of all the statistical lists. And again, the size-speed combo that he has is almost unprecedented when you really look at it in NFL history for a running back. Yeah. Next up, 2011 corner Minkah Fitzpatrick. He was a guy who I thought could play anywhere in the secondary, right? I mean, yes, he was a corner, but I felt like he could float however you needed him to go. And he's had a pretty solid career so far for Miami when he was out there. 2021, one of the last years in this list, guy that you talked me into and has proven you right over and over again so far. Quarterback Pat Surtain. That dude's one of the best in the league right now, and he definitely.
Damn, I forgot how much I even like. Damn, that means the guy that I thought was my number 2 is probably number 3 on mine because he's probably number 2. Yeah.
He's number 4 for me because even though you talked me into him, I still didn't like him as much as the next guy. 2019, Quinnen Williams. He was just an absolute beast on the line,
and see,
he has been since then.
That was a huge swing and a miss by me because I didn't like him.
No, I know you weren't a huge fan of him, but that worked out for me. And then I went all the way back to 2001 when I really looked at who I liked from Alabama. There are plenty of names that aren't going to make my top 6 that might be in your top 6. So don't take this as I'm forgetting other players. There's other guys that were awesome. They just didn't quite fit what I could remember from looking back in my history. Sean Alexander, though, was a guy that I remembered from being around college football. Then he was a running back when they let running backs run, and part of the reason why his career was maybe not quite as spectacular. I mean, he was obviously very solid in the NFL, but maybe not quite as spectacular. Was because I think he got used too much in college. Because that was back when you do have 300 plus carries in college, and all of a sudden guys come into the NFL and they're burned out in a couple seasons because they've been run through the ringer. But he was so good in the early 2000s. But number one, far and away, as evidenced by what was traded for him,
it's got to be my guy.
Is Julio Jones. Just such a transcendent talent. Again, and the guys like Devonta Smith were almost on this list for me because he had such a great year winning the Heisman, et cetera, at wide receiver. But Julio Jones, the size, speed combo, and just what he could do all over the field and what he did his whole career. There's a reason why Atlanta traded up for him. It was one of the better trade-ups because usually a trade-up ends up not working out for a team. But that one worked out.
Right, it worked.
And Julio's the best way to come out of Alabama.
I agree. You know what that taught me, what Julio taught me, is as far as, especially for like the type of show we do where we're debating prospects, right? I was such a big Julio fan. But everybody had a different wide receiver. I won't say everybody. The majority had a different wide receiver ranked as the number one wide receiver in that class, who I also loved a ton. That was AJ Green. But here was the lesson. Here's the lesson that I learned. Like, you can debate like who the number one guy is, but like, debating it like as heavily as we do, like try not to get so invested into it, because I was a huge fan of both of them. But I argued that Julio was number one so hard to so many people over AJ that I found myself like not rooting for AJ because I wanted to like be right. Yeah, and I think that lesson kind of like what transitioned into the not engaging into all the arguments about who was better between Odunze and Harrison and Neighbors. It's like, dude, all three are fantastic. I'm not going to play this game anymore. Yes, Rome's my one. You can be upset if you want, but they're all great. So don't get caught up and so defensive in one like I did. That was a terrible experience.
Yeah, and again, you can allow it in certain cases if you passionately dislike the other guy that everybody else seems to like.
But when you like them all, just let it be.
Yeah, like it was easy for you when, mind you, one of the guys that was not on your list for Auburn, Cam Newton, it was easy for you to go against him, even though he was talented. But at any rate, who's up next for you then?
Ooh, that's a good bourbon. That was what was next. I got the Florida Gators. You know what I realized? For a team that's always been like one of my let's be honest, it's probably, my second or third favorite team in the SEC, to be honest. But man, they've burned me a lot. I'm starting to wonder why. Why do I like them? Like, you could almost make a case that none of it has worked out. Well, one. Here we go. We'll get into it. So I guess I'm just going to if I like a Florida player, so they're going to be low in my top 32 from here on out. They're not going to get me again. All right. 6th spot, 2013 defensive lineman Sharif Floyd went to the Minnesota Vikings in the first round. I remember even Brad loved this guy too. Yeah. And dude, we were all so salty that Minnesota got him.
Right.
And well, he didn't do anything. So
he did not.
Moving on. 2020 cornerback. The Jaguars finally got a corner. I feel like I've been saying this ever since their existence.
Right.
They need a cornerback. They finally drafted one, and one that I'd liked a ton. C.J. Henderson. 2010, probably your number one Florida Gator. I couldn't help it. He had the ugliest throwing motion I've ever seen in my entire life, and I just couldn't help it because he just wins in a variety of ways. And I was like, dude, he could maybe he changes the position. I don't know.
Right.
2010 quarterback Tim Tebow.
Now,
arguably the best college player ever, I guess.
But we can both agree he shouldn't have been a first-round draft pick.
No. Well, not a first-round grade, but I probably had him in my top 32.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think he probably should have been, just not a first-round grade.
First-round grade,
yep. But, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, and again, first-round pick to Denver.
I defended him to the death, and I still believe that he's another guy that, don't get me wrong, mechanics, awful, right? When it comes to the quarterback position, he was just such a wonky fit. He was a fullback playing quarterback pretty much, which is funny.
Maybe that's why I liked him.
That could have been you in high school if you would have gotten the opportunity. But the fact that he's another one of those guys that the situation kind of didn't work out for him, right? He was in Denver, won a playoff game, albeit not necessarily just because of him, but still the team that he, started for won a playoff game, and then they got a chance to bring in Peyton Manning. And if they wouldn't have had that opportunity, I think he gets a few more years to start. Maybe his legacy is totally different. You never know. And that's what makes it very interesting when we talk about guys, boom, bust, waste, whatever. Tebow is definitely one of those guys that seemed contrarian. But honestly, for me, that was one of the reasons why I liked him even more, was he won in ways that didn't make sense. He won games where he completed like 3 passes. Yeah. And I'm saying he had Jesus. He had Jesus on his side. It was working out.
Something was until he got to the pros. It was all going very well.
Well, yeah, and then until he got traded away from the Broncos, because again, even with the Broncos, he was still. I think he was over 500 as a starter in the NFL as well. Which is, I mean, him and Vince Young are probably two of the guys that just never really got much of a chance. Now Vince Young for different reasons.
We might talk about Vince Young towards the end of the show. We'll see.
I think you should.
Number 3 spot.
Yeah,
also
10-6, by the way. Tim Tebow as a starter. Better than a lot of guys out there, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree. 2010 still for the number 3 spot. Same team as Tim Tebow, opposite side of the ball. Cornerback, Joe Hayden. First-round pick to the Browns. He was good. So thankfully, I'm 1 for 4 now, but I know it's going to be 1 for 5 because let me get to my 2 spot. And I still look. Will you please look his college stats up?
Sure.
I cannot understand how he was a miss, a complete miss. And I was so excited. He went to one of my favorite teams, 2016 cornerback Vernon Hargraves. First round pick to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was so convinced this was going to be so good.
Sure.
I'm not moving on until I know.
You want his pro or his college stats?
College.
He had 10 picks.
Dude.
Now,
he also had good too, and he had 10 picks.
We had 27 passes defensed, and only 4 of those were in his last season because nobody wanted to throw the ball to him anymore. He had 4 picks and 4 passes defensed in his last season because they were staying away from him by then.
I don't understand.
And
how, you know what?
He played.
Put this. Nope, Tampa ruined him. I didn't miss. Put this as another one. I did not miss. Tampa ruined him.
Because he had a couple good seasons, not great seasons with Tampa. Even like his first year was pretty solid. His second year was all right, and he did okay here and there. But again, he only had 5 years and he was done. So it's really crazy when you think about the fact that he was out of the league by the time he was 26. And I'm guessing some of that's probably injury related, et cetera. But still.
Talk about another short career injury related, but this one wasn't a miss. You can't count this as a miss. So I was 2 for 6. Not good. 1999 edge rusher Javon Curse, the freak, first round pick to the Tennessee Titans. This guy looked like he was going to be the next Lawrence frickin' Taylor.
Right.
And probably almost really was living up to it until the injuries got him.
Well, his first 3 seasons, 14.5, 11.5, 10. So he was double-digit sacks his first 3 years, never again after that. That's a shame.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's my 6 for Florida. I'm now cautious of Florida players. Don't trust them.
No one's going to argue you when it comes to Javon Curse. The Arkansas Razorbacks, let's just say it was rough.
Trade you Auburn for Arkansas.
No, because I can't have both teams in a state. We're trying to avoid that, remember?
So if I did, that means I'd have to take Bama. Everybody loses.
Yeah, or I guess then I just take all of Alabama and you give me the Birmingham, the Blazers as well. So,
I see what you're trying to parlay it into the coolest team of all 4. Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep things in perspective. Arkansas Razorbacks, dude, this was a slog for me, and part of it's because they haven't had a ton of talent come out recently from that school, right? 2016 though, Hunter Henry kind of falls in that sixth spot.
If you put Darren McFadden on this list, I'm logging off.
Well, first things first, Hunter Henry, tight end, had a good career, not great with Arkansas, but he's in the sixth spot because most of the rest of the guys did not move the needle for me. You know what the funny part is? We'll get to that 2008 season here in a bit, but at the 5 spot, this is a miss for me. And again, because I was drawn in by the athleticism and the potential for multiple positions and gadgets, etc. 2005, Matt Jones, the quarterback turned wide receiver, who was just so crazy athletic that I'm like, this guy has a home. And then he was just like so many other guys that have been athletic but can't find a proper position. He didn't find a home. Didn't work out. 2008, though, running back. Felix Jones, because I couldn't put Darren McFadden on this list. McFadden coming into the combine, I was on board with him, right? And then he put up like 12 reps on the bench press, and we're like, cool. Seven reps on the bench press, and he was fast, and that was it. Whereas Felix at least had some size to him to go with the speed and a little more power. So Felix Jones, who also had like 1,000-yard season. So they were both very good running backs. And that would be the other year, by the way, where there were 2 first-round draft pick running backs from the same school in 2008.
This is happening way more often than
I know, right?
Thought.
Than both of us would have thought. So there you go. 2008 was the other time that happened. So all that to say, I'm still not wildly impressed with the Arkansas Razorbacks that I was pulling out here. In 2007, I had to go for a 4th-rounder, Trey Flowers, who actually did have a legit decent career in the NFL. And he was a guy on the edge that, again, he wasn't amazing in college, but he was solid. That being said, he paled in comparison to another guy that I thought was going to be phenomenal in the NFL because of what he did at the end of his college career and instead did not. Do you remember Jamal Anderson?
I do. The
Jamal
Dirty Bird.
Anderson, not a different Dirty Bird. This is Jamal Anderson, the D-line edge guy for Arkansas. This guy had 13 and a half sacks and 20 tackles for a loss in his senior year for Arkansas. And I'm like, cool, this dude is just going to be, he's a 6'5", 288-pound hybrid who is just going to, be all over the place and bounce around and do great things. He played 6 years in the NFL, had 7.5 sacks in 6 years. So
it's not what you want.
Suffice to say, he did not find a good place. But I will say I hit on the top guy coming out of Arkansas. He'd be your top guy, too, let's be honest. 2018 center Frank Ragnow. Loved him. Well, so sad the injuries got him.
I don't know if he would have been my top guy from Arkansas, but he's in my 6, and he's more towards the top than the bottom. The only reason why I say I don't know if he would have been my top guy is just because it's top 6 from 1998 to 2021 to get an interior lineman in there.
That's how bad it's been for Arkansas.
Exactly.
He would not have been in the top 6 for a bunch of other programs. For Arkansas, he's number 1. Who's next on your list?
He might have been. We got the Kentucky Wildcats.
Ooh.
What? You know what? I'm starting not to like this series. You'll have to wait, but the number 1 player on my list is just making me relive just more draft day frustrations. Because we were one pick. He went to pick right before Detroit. And it was just like, I remember getting up, what the hell with it. We're starting with 1 with Kentucky, and then I'll go 62. Number 1, edge rusher Josh Allen, 2019. Look it up. I think he went to pick before because I was convinced the Jags, there's no way they were going to go edge rusher. Right. So I went to the bar at B-Dubs and bought a round of shots for our table to celebrate us getting Josh Allen.
So you pulled a Pittsburgh this year with
Yeah. Yep.
Josh Allen went pick 7 to the Jaguars. 1 pick before the Detroit Lions took TJ Hawkinson. How you doing there, champ?
You know what? Why? What is it? The tight end stress me out with Detroit. Even if I do like him, like I liked Laporta, but I really wanted Branch, and I was stressed.
Right.
They take TJ. I really wanted Allen. I wanted Donald or Luan, and they take Ebron. I'm just over tight ends. I'm over it.
Fair. Yeah, that's a safe place to be.
6th spot, and I do want to highlight that Kentucky was very tough. My list of players that I liked, I had 4. I guess it wasn't all that bad. So I had to put 2 on here. So number 6, I put Tim Couch, who I actually didn't care for, but there just hasn't been anybody.
Mm-hmm.
There just hasn't been anybody from Kentucky that I was this guy's
to his credit. Yeah, Tim Couch lit the flip up back in the air raid Hal Mummy days that they had. So,
but
he threw a lot of picks.
Yeah, too many picks for me. That shows where it's at. And then same story, to a completely different position, so not same story. 2003 defensive lineman Dwayne Robertson went to the Jets in the first round. I wasn't huge on him either.
Sure,
but I had to get 6. So now we're starting the last 3 because I obviously was a big Josh Allen guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Allen Hines.
Everyone
Hines
should
Allen?
be. Hines Allen.
Or
Hines
that's
Allen
what it is
now.
now?
Well, because you think about the guys picked in front of him. I mean, outside of Bosa and Williams, he's definitely had the best career out of all of those guys. And you can make an argument about it. He's ahead of Nick Bosa as well. Maybe even Quentin Williams. He might have had the best career of the top 7 guys in this 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm not trying to retcon too much, but
Bosa, come on.
I mean, but Bosa's been hurt. We'll see what comes.
Yeah, but when Bosa's he plays, he's insane. He's an Avenger.
Yeah, well, again, is there an Avenger that gets injured a lot?
Yeah, the Glass Avenger.
The Glass Avenger. There you go. Glass Cannon Avenger. I like it.
Yeah. So number 4 on this list might be one of my top 10 most excited draft picks that the Lions have ever made. Did it work?
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. But 2013 guard Larry Warford, 3rd round. This was a guy, Brad and I we had him pegged this needs to be our 2nd round pick. Sure. And both of us were so distraught when I can't even remember who they took in the 2nd over Warford, but then we got him in the 3rd. And I think
that was a huge.
Actually, this is when I was living on Flynn Lane, and I was so salty about it that I was like, they're coming up. I'm going to go check the grill because I had the grill right outside that window.
Right.
And I heard the TV say Larry Warford, and I got so excited that I went to sprint to run inside to see him talk about it and show the highlight. I knocked the grill over.
That sounds right. Well, yeah, and again, it's the tragedy with Warford wasn't that he got picked by the Lions, is that he had 3 Pro Bowl seasons after he left the Lions.
Yes. I know. I'm still salty.
Annoying.
Number 3 for the Kentucky Wildcats, 2011 wide receiver Randall Cobb. Loved him until he became a Green Bay Packer in the 2nd round.
Yeah. Saw him play in 2011 because CMU went on the road to Kentucky that year, and I was working for the broadcast with the Chippewas, and holy wow, in person in college, that dude was on a different level with it, just how he moved.
Insane.
Crazy.
Yeah. I wasn't huge on his size.
No, but the quickness and the elusiveness.
Yeah, it was insane. He was like a little joystick.
Mm-hmm. Super annoying to watch as the other team.
Number 2 on my list, I kind of blame Matt Miller, but I was a huge fan too. But I was a huge fan of him as my ideal day 2 pick.
Okay.
And I think Matt Miller talked about him so damn much. I swear that he inflated his draft stock right into the 1st round. But man, I love Jamin Davis. 2021 linebacker. Maybe Washington just ruined him. Maybe he's not a bust.
Washington has ruined a few players in recent memory, so that's not completely surprising. But yeah, Davis was just he's a physical thumping kind of linebacker, so I can understand why you liked him.
Loved it. Huge fan. Number 2. Then number 1, just a reminder, is Josh Allen.
Yeah, can't go wrong with him. Georgia Bulldogs. Another one where there were a lot of names. Don't at me.
Oh, man.
There's so many guys that could have been on this list. I had to do some serious
I'm just going to try to think about this on the top of my head. I got 2 that I know for sure, and I don't even know who number 1. I don't think Bowser would have been my number 1, but I thought he had a shot.
Bowser came in after, remember.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't count.
He's not inside.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about him.
So I only, we'll see. I want to see if you got my guy.
I was all over the place when it came to the years, because Georgia has been alternately good. They had a little dip there for a little while in the mid 2000s, something like that. But all of these players are from 2009 after, except for one. We'll get to that in a second. But 2016 linebacker Leonard Floyd, loved him. Part of it being he went to the Bears and I was very happy about that, but he was a physical presence that was out there on that. 2011 wide receiver, A.J. Green. I know
He
you
had a better
had,
mind.
again, Julio was better, but A.J. Green, they were two different players, right? A.J. was the kind of gazelle style, whereas Julio was a little more of the bulldog, the physical, which is funny because obviously Georgia's the Bulldogs, but Green was trimmer. I mean, he's not thin, but he's trimmer than Julio. Played a slightly different game, but still was super, super solid out there. That being said, he's only 5 for me because I like the other 4 a lot more. Roquan Smith being one of them in 2018.
He'd have been mine.
Linebacker. Loved when the Bears got him. Super salty when they got rid of him, but hey, that's how it goes.
That was one of the dumbest things I've seen the Bears do. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. It's still painful, but it's okay. We're getting through it. They had Leonard Floyd and Roquan Smith, and somehow botched both of them, in my opinion. 2020, though, this is partially because you encouraged me to like him, but Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle, was so good coming out.
Did I encourage you to like him?
I don't
remember.
I'm pinning it on you.
Remember. I don't think he would have made my top 6 for Georgia, though. Maybe I liked him more than I remember, but I don't think he would have made my 6.
He's on the list for me because
I like him.
When I looked at him versus some of the other guys that could have been on there, and there were plenty who could have been on there, he stood out to me as a guy that I knew in my mind, right? And again, we always know until we get to the NFL, and then you see the guys not making it. I knew he was going to be a plug-and-play starter if he could stay healthy and keep rolling, right, for what they had.
Yeah, and I knew he was going to be better than who's the guy from Bama they drafted?
Which
starts with an E. The other tackle.
Minor? Oh, yeah,
No. The other guy. The first round pick.
Neil?
Yeah, Neil. Sorry. Yeah. Dude, I was not a fan.
No, not of Evan Neal. By the way, Evan Neal did not make the list, clearly. Top 2, though, were far and away, in my opinion, better than all the rest of the guys from Georgia. One of those from 1999, Champ Bailey.
Okay,
Champ Bailey.
So I had to debate between him and the other guy. I don't know who my number 1 would be.
Number 1 is Matt Stafford. So it was Bailey.
Oh, and I don't know how I forgot about Stafford.
Champ and Stafford were my top 2 because Matt Stafford,
so you didn't get my guy?
He went to the Lions. Maybe not. I don't know.
Did he not go to that school?
Who am I missing? But so Champ Bailey, Matt Stafford was at 1 for me, ahead of Bailey. As much as I love Champ Bailey, Stafford's quarterback, 2, he's going to the Lions. Stafford came in as like a 21-year-old absolute cannon for an arm. And so loved him. Champ Bailey was great, but not quite on the same level. Who am I missing?
You got a major miss on there because he's arguably my 1. I don't know. I'd have to sit and think about it. But it's between him, Champ Bailey, and Stafford. But
okay. At least you got 2 out of 3.
David Pollock.
Yeah, no, again, you liked him way more than I did.
Dude, he was like...
Pollock was in my next tier. No, he did.
40 sacks in college football.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Is that You hold on.
You're going to look up who had the most sacks in college football, huh? Aren't you? So David Pollock, and to remind everybody, again, early 2000s guy, absolutely
30 says, according to Copilot, David Pollock had 36 sacks during his college football career at the University of Georgia, which is the most in school history and ranks him 3rd in NCAA history.
Sure.
I have a feeling...
And I wasn't as convinced as you were. And he was in that next group of probably 5 guys. He's definitely top 10 for me for Georgia, but you liked him a lot more than I did.
I seriously have a feeling he would have been my number 1, Champ Bailey 2, and Stafford 3 would have been my top 3.
Yeah. But again, this is why it's fun. This is our list, not the consensus list. And Pollock, I will admit that was a guy I should have had higher looking back on it. But at the time, I just wasn't convinced.
Oof. Huge fan. All right. Is it halftime or am I doing one more?
We got one more.
All right. The Mississippi State Bulldogs. This one,
you would have thought would have been tough.
It was tough.
There you go.
There are a lot of names, but I just quickly realized, if I'm being truthfully honest, there was only one that I remember pounding the table for. Even the number 2 on my list ended up being an awesome NFL player, but I was just like, yeah, he's solid, but he wasn't like my guy. You know what I mean? So I thought I didn't think it'd be like that. I thought they'd have tons of options. I'm like, oh yeah, I love that guy. So number 6, I almost blame Matt Miller for this one too. Benardrick McKinney, 2015 linebacker. Sorry, whiskey burp. Second round pick
happens.
to the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Mississippi State, 2013 cornerback Darius Slay, another second round pick to the Detroit Lions.
And he had a decent career.
He did, and I liked it when Detroit picked him. But again, like I liked McKinney, I like Slay, I like all these guys on this list, but they just weren't any of like the my guys. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh yeah, good player, good pick, but just nothing that was like freaking out about. Number 4. 2019 edge rusher Montez Sweat, first round pick for the Washington Commanders. Well, and they probably weren't the Commanders.
No, they were the Redskins then, but still, yeah.
They could have been the football team. I don't know.
And no, I think they were still the Redskins in 19. I think it was 2021. 2020 or 21 was when they dropped the Redskins, when everybody was, actually paying attention to that stuff again.
Number 3 on the list, 2013 safety Jonathan Banks was also a second round pick to Tampa Bay. Clearly, I thought he should have been higher, but he still wasn't my guy. Second round pick, awesome play. It quickly became like one of my favorite. Like, he's like one of those hybrids. I don't know if I want to call him a D lineman or an edge rusher or just whatever. Up front, for the defensive trench. The DT, that's the new DT.
I love it.
2012 D lineman Fletcher Cox, first round pick to the Eagles.
Yeah, okay? He was solid.
And then the only guy that I remember just being like absolute beast, stud, 2019 defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons, first round pick Tennessee Titans.
That one was an easy one.
Yeah, that was the only one I could remember off the top of my head. That's the thing.
And that's why Mississippi State has struggled over the years. Like, they've had some talent, but they never pooled the talent all at one time, right? And so that tends to make things challenging. Next up for me was another challenge because I had to parse through a whole bunch of names that could have made the list, and that's LSU, the Tigers, Louisiana State.
Oh, that's a fun list. If you don't have Patrick Peterson on your list, I'm logging off too.
We'll get to that later.
He might be my number 1.
Well, I first things first. You're doing this. Number 6 for me, he's not a miss because he did have a decent career, but I liked him so much. And he is a third-round draft pick in 2013, Tyrann Mathieu. Such an annoying... The Honey Badger.
Yeah,
he was an annoying little pain in the butt, and that's why I liked him.
He ended up being a better pro than I thought because I just didn't think he was big enough to do it.
No, he was... But again, Honey Badger don't give up.
Which is part of the reason why I said to hell with it, D'Angelo Pons is my guy. Don't care. Because it's happened before and I liked him.
So Tyrann Mathieu ends up in the 6th spot. 5, and again, don't get on me for thinking some of these guys are where they're at. This is what I thought at the time. Jamar Chase is 5 for me because I thought part of it was he was kind of riding the coattails of some other guys. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was when he's been since he's come out, and so that's been awesome for him, obviously. But he's in the 5 spot, still obviously well ahead of other players that I could have put on this list. 4, though, and I blame you for this one, and I think you can own this one because it was the year of the Devons. Devin White has got to be on this list in 2019.
He'd make my top 6.
Yeah, he was so good.
Who's he play for now?
Right? Took a while. What?
Dude, did one of the clips when I said Detroit, if you're listening to this, sign Devin White.
Yeah.
They're watching the show.
Yeah, took them a while, but they got there. Yeah, and so again.
No, did you read the article on it?
No.
No, they had reached out to him really early in the process, he said.
Oh, okay.
But he said he wanted to wait and weigh his options. It's, because he knew he wanted to play for a contender, but he wanted to play somewhere where,
he's like actually playing, probably.
Playing, and it was going to be a good fit and weigh all of his decisions and blah, 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 blah. And he said he even took a lesser offer to go play a year with Detroit. He just thought that was the best fit. But
there you go then.
Thanks, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, for trusting in JP.
Appreciate you guys. But yeah, Devin White's definitely got to make the list. He's in the 4 spot because while I liked him, there were some other guys I liked better. Justin Jefferson is one of those guys. He comes in at 3. And again, he could have been part of the reason because he was coming along with Joe Burrow, but...
You know what's crazy is I was the opposite of you with those. I was a bigger Jamar Chase guy and a little more reserved on Justin Jefferson.
Right. And again, they both had great careers so far, so no complaints there.
They're both great.
Number 2 is Joe Burrow. The season that he had...
so you got the same top 2, I hope.
Yeah. So Joe Burrow's number 2. The year that he had is going to be tough to replicate, especially for a guy who didn't already have a level of hype coming in. Because again, Burrow was at Ohio State, moved to LSU, had an okay sophomore year, and then I think it was sophomore year, and then lit it up in 2020. Which one of the great trivia questions of all time is who was the head coach of the most prolific offense in NCAA history? It's Ed freaking Orgeron, who sounds like a guy who should be coaching defense for the Southeast Louisiana State, team from freaking Waterboy. Love the guy. But then number 1, it's Patrick Peterson. Come on now.
I'd had the same top 2. The rest would have been in a different order.
Sure. But it has to be. That guy was
huge fan.
He was a transcendent talent because it wasn't just that he was a lockdown corner. He was able to be physical. He could tackle. He could do all of the things that you want a guy to do in that position.
He wasn't a corner. He was just a DB. He could do any of it back there.
Put him anywhere back there, and he was going to get the job done. Obviously, it worked out pretty well for him.
Yep.
Let's take a quick little break. Why don't you tell people about the 2 you've been sipping and see where we're at with this? You don't have to necessarily declare a winner. You got to the end of the show to do that. But
okay. I was going to say, but I think I know it's...
It's a high-profile throwdown.
It is. So the inspiration on this was basically now that E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof is my favorite whiskey of any kind I've ever had. Obviously, batches vary, but as a whole,
tell by
they're my
the line on the wall,
the whole top row up there.
Yeah.
By the way, my lights are on, but apparently I need to charge them. They're super dead.
A little bit.
But so it's not going to be barrel proof, but because of the E.H. Taylor small batch, at least in my area, it is readily available now.
Well, and
right?
it has been
albeit
more. Like
the MSRP went up by $15, $20. It's still readily available.
Yeah. But that's the thing is we talk about the bourbon world is healing a little bit. Like some of the things that were hard to find a couple years ago are now being a little bit easier to get hold of, which is great because it's going to, if anything, and here's my opinion, it's going to help the bourbon world because people are going to get those more entry level, depending on the brand, ones that they can get a hold of, which is going to increase their interest in the harder to find stuff. So it's going to be good all across the board. And I'm glad some of that stuff's easy to find now.
Because maybe the harder to find stuff comes down a little bit back to reality.
Yeah.
But so the inspiration was that, and I'm glad that we made the last minute decision. We almost did it against the one that's back there, the one that freaked everybody out, the Jack Daniel's Heritage one. That's not a special one. It's a shelfer.
Right.
It's there. It's in the same
yearly
price range ish. Yeah, it's just available year round. But I'm glad we didn't do it because I would have known like that which one was which.
Fair.
You know what I mean? With this made it tough. I think I know which one's which, but I'm not going to focus on it because I just want to focus on which one I like better. But we decided to go with Eagle Rare to keep it the same distillery, which I like because it's got some of the similar notes. So I won't declare a winner yet. But so I got the Eagle Rare 10-year versus the E.H. Taylor small batch that's not
and they're both
dated.
No, but similar price points.
Similar, yes. I'll say this, whatever's in glass A or 1, if you will, well, both of them have the same, sugary, sweet vibes that's just the Buffalo Trace staple. Right? That's pretty much there in everything at different levels that they do. But the first one here has got, a darker, a plum or, a raisin vibe with some vanilla and oak. And the other one, number 2, is got, and again, both have the sugary sweet bits, is more of an orange peel, more of a bit of a, I don't know, bitter with the sweet and the oak.
Which I'd probably align that direction personally. But
well, that's what's crazy. That's the direction that I would go to because I'm not a big sweets guy. But you know what? This has kind of made me realize I was thinking about this the whole first half of the show, even though we're 50 minutes into this sucker and halfway done.
It's the SEC. It's gonna be longer.
We'll speed up at the end. Apparently, I like my whiskey the opposite way I like any other types of foods.
Okay.
I don't, because I'm leaning towards this plummy raisin, vanilla oaky vibe over the orange when orange is
your thing,
arguably my favorite fruit. It's either that or grapefruit's probably my favorite,
right?
But orange and blackberries I go to a lot, but I don't know, I'm leaning one. We'll see.
Okay, Fun. I like that. I had one beer that isn't earmarked for when we actually hang out and can do some double samples. And the reason why I grabbed this one is because I think it's one you could find as well. It is the I want to make sure I get this right. It is the Cocomongo. It's a Floyds.
Have you had that one?
Okay, I couldn't remember if you had it or not.
I think so.
This is a barrel-aged coconut stout, right? And I didn't realize this until I grabbed it and poured it. It is 15.6%. So this is half a bottle of wine at stronger than wine strength. So that's dangerous in its own right. And here's what I will tell you. This I call on the side of the bottle, behold the legend of Cocomongo, an imperial stout brewed with toasted coconut and aged for over a year in bourbon barrels. So here's what I can tell you. I don't get a lot of coconut. I don't know if you've had this one, if you remember that. I was expecting more. I was definitely expecting more coconut, and it's very, very subtle. Like I've had to search for the coconut notes, which is not something I was expecting.
I remember saying the same thing.
Sure. Now, it's a very good flavor. Like, I like the flavor on it. The bourbon barrel, even though it's been in there for a year, has not overpowered it, because sometimes you get that in the bourbon barrel-aged beers, where it's just a little bit too bourbon barrel-aged, if you will. It's too strong of a flavor. But this one, the flavor is very balanced. It's a very good stout. But if you didn't tell me that this had coconut in it, I probably wouldn't be able to pick out the coconut. And so that's kind of interesting for me. It's still very good. It's like a 3.75, I think, probably was where I would put it.
It's hilarious. You know why?
Is that what you had?
I had it on April 9th this year, just before the draft. I gave it a 3.75, and I do distinctly remember saying if there were more of the coconut in it and more of the, because it's aged in Willet barrels, which is why I was excited, because I really like Willet's, probably my second favorite rye. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I wanted more of, I know they don't have, like, Willet leans more like the earthy, herbal, minty notes rather than the spice, but I was like, any of that with some spice, a little bit more in there with the coconut. Basically, the description of this beer was set up to be a 5.
Sure, yeah.
And it just didn't do it, because I was like, they made this beer for me.
It's very good, but it's not great. Yes. And that's always the challenge when you get to it. Still, good work there, though. And again, if you find some bourbon barrel-aged stuff from a brewery you like, get into it. Three Floyds, it happens to be one of the ones that gets up into Michigan, so we're very thankful for that. All right, time to get to the second half of our SEC run here. And who are you starting off with?
I'm going to start off with Missouri.
Okay.
I will say that there were 4 that I really remember pound the table for, so I did kind of have to sneak 2 in that I just liked, but not a ton. So, 6th spot, 2009 defensive lineman Ziggy Hood, and I know that's not his real name. I think his first name's like Evander or something like that, to Pittsburgh. 5 spot, 2013, another defensive lineman, Sheldon Richardson, first-round pick for the Jets. Again, I wasn't huge on them, but I also do remember being kind of upset that with the Jets. I was like, damn, the Jets got him? You know what I mean? So I knew I liked him. But these top 4, I liked a lot. And, one of them was a big miss. So, a big miss. Number, go ahead and look his stats up, Dan. Tell me how many tackles he had. You know who I'm talking about. But number 4, and this isn't the guy I'm talking about, because it's my number 1 guy. 2021 linebacker Nick Bolton went in the 2nd round, which was rubbish to the Chiefs. What a steal that was for them. Number 3, I think you got to call it a bust, but he flashed at times. But I was a huge fan. 2009 wide receiver Jeremy Maclin, first-round pick for the Eagles. Huge fan. We got to go a little old school on this one, but man, I liked him a lot. My freshman year or whatever year it was at high school. 2001 edge rusher Justin Smith, first-round pick for the Bengals. Man, that was a pick. Good pick. And then the miss. The big one. 2010 linebacker Sean Witherspoon, the original Spoon. Man.
He was the original Spoon.
Yeah, and first-round pick for the Falcons. Gosh.
Now,
I was such a fan.
He had 155 total tackles as a junior, and 111 as a senior, and had 44 total tackles for a loss in his time in college.
So good.
Had 4 interceptions as well. Like,
he's not a bust. Falcons ruined him. He's not a bust.
No, let's think about this. what happened with him, because he started his first 3 years in Atlanta and had a good start to his career. Did he get hurt? I can't remember. He must have gotten hurt.
So sad.
Like, no,
he's probably making my final 6 for the SEC.
Fair.
I liked him that much.
I feel like Witherspoon had okay, yeah. So it was the Achilles in 2014, and then another Achilles in 2016. So we're gonna say injuries for him. I feel like, because again, I remember him being really solid when he started his career. It seemed like he was on an upward trajectory.
He looked like an Avenger too.
Well, Achilles injuries.
Combine.
Yeah, jeez. But even a decade ago,
I was huge on him before the combine. Then the combine happened. I was like, this guy's a sorcerer.
So, but even a decade ago, an Achilles injury was you're done.
Way different,
right? Now you're still out. I believe, again, I still personally believe at this point in time, an Achilles injury is an 18-month injury. You can come back in 9 to 12, but you aren't yourself for at least a year and a half. That's my personal opinion. So that's why I'm concerned, obviously, with Brian Branch. We'll get to him in a minute. Ole Miss, who you are not taking from me. Love myself some Rebels. They were hit and miss, though, man, when it came to guys that I really liked.
We can't get to Brian Branch in a minute because he's too new. But also,
no, I can.
I had Ole Miss before you did. You didn't draft him. I drafted him. I traded him to you, and I forget why. Who did I really want?
I don't remember, but you took him away from me to begin with, and I got him back, and I'm keeping him. You're not getting him back.
That's fine.
2019. Offensive tackle Greg Little comes in at the 6th spot because I didn't really have a whole lot of guys that I liked from Ole Miss. I found out I like Ole Miss, but I necessarily like all of the players they've had over the years. Yeah, he was a good tackle, right? But he wasn't transcendent. So
I'm trying to think who my number 1 from Ole Miss was. I always do it with all your teams.
It's pretty easy when we get there for who the number 1 was. In my opinion, it was, right? So, but again, that's always fun when you try to go back.
Mine might have been AJ.
Well, again,
we'll Patrick Willis. Dang it.
No, you spoiled it. You spoiled it. You spoiled the top 2. We'll get to them in a minute. Fine. All right, let's just rip through these. 2016, Laquan Treadwell.
Oh, that you liked him? Whiff. I did not like him.
Oh, I did swinging not a like freaking him. Miss. Oh, man. He had such a good season as a senior. I'm like, cool, this dude's big. He's got the body. I hate that he went to Minnesota. And then I was fine with him going to Minnesota because he didn't do squat.
I would have had Eli above him.
Ouch. Yeah, Eli did not make this list. FYI, anybody who's an Eli Manning
probably
fan.
Would have made mine.
He did not make my list. I was not. And again, part of it was because
I was a bigger fan of him in college than I was in the pros.
I liked him. I liked Phillip Rivers. I did. And I also thought Eli was being a gigantic wimp by making his whiny choice of, I don't want to play in San Diego. Have you ever been to San Diego, JP?
The furthest west I've been is Tejas.
Well, you would look, San Diego is still warmer than, you'd probably like it to be, but San Diego's climate is gorgeous. Like, even when it gets hot, it still has the breeze, it's got the beach, outside of the fact that you don't really, swim that much, San Diego's gorgeous.
Why swim at all? I just get in the water and stand.
Eli whining about San Diego. He'd never been to San Diego. Dumb. 2016, Laramie Tunsil. And right before he was going to be a top 10 pick, right before the gas mask bong video dropped, and so he bounced back to where he's at. And he's on his 3rd team, but it's not his fault. He's a guy that, even though he's been on 3 teams in his career so far, it's because of his talent, not because teams want to get rid of him. He's been traded twice because of how talented he is. Deuce McAllister from 2001 is number 3. I freaking loved Deuce, man. I loved Deuce, and maybe I was on a running back kick back in the early 2000s, but he was so freaking good back in the early 2000s playing for Ole Miss. But the top 2, A.J. Brown, looking like an Avenger. That guy looked like a freaking alien. Between him and DK,
I think him and DK would have made mine.
DK didn't make mine because I didn't think he'd do more than a straight go route. And he's proven he's better than that. Yeah, he's proven he's better than that. But Patrick Willis number 1 because Patrick Willis.
Yes,
come on,
landslide number 1
by far. Yeah, very.
Put it this way: I was perfectly fine with the Lions taking him or Calvin Johnson when they were on the clock. So that tells you how I felt.
Yeah, that's perspective right there. All right, next,
South Carolina. This one was a lot of fun, man. I felt bad because I had to go down memory lane to complete this because I honestly only had 2 names in my head, and they weren't the top two. One was 4 and one was 1. The rest I did have to research. Number 6,
I know,
2004.
Yeah, I
Yes. 2004. I forgot all about Dunta Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Such a name.
Loved Dunta Robinson. Okay.
Right.
And then even earlier, the earliest guy in the list at the 5 spot in the 2000 draft, John Abraham, first round pick for the Jets.
Yeah. He was legit.
And then, but then number 4 was one of the two that I remembered, and I'm assuming he probably would have been higher on most people's list. But that last year, I don't remember if it was senior or junior year. The last year at South Carolina just wasn't the same for a variety of reasons. But 2014 edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney. First round pick, the Texans, comes in at 4 for me.
It's because you're just salty because he popped a helmet off,
Yeah,
of a Michigan guy.
Smith when he crushed him in the backfield. This
Yeah,
is nasty, one of the nastiest hits I've ever seen.
Yeah, we weren't paying well, and part of it was because he had his helmet on loosely, but still, I don't think we weren't following obviously as closely as we do now. So I'd be curious to know how much he was double teamed as a senior because his junior year was off the charts.
Part of it was he just wasn't on the field as much because he was almost debating on sitting out, if I remember right, because he didn't need to prove anything because the year prior was insane.
It was nuts.
He could have been one of those players that got drafted in the NFL out of high school, and I guess you can't say it would work because he didn't live up to what he should have been. But yeah, he had the body type where it's like...
He's had a good run, and I'll be curious to see what he can give the Texans this year.
Right. Then number 3, can't believe that I forgot number 3. Can't believe it because I was such a big fan, but 2012 cornerback Stephon Gilmore, first-round pick for the Bills.
I figured he'd be on your list.
Here's a massive, embarrassing one. Pull up his stats for me, if you will, and make sure I'm not a complete idiot of how he did in college. Because he didn't work in the pros, but 2007 wide receiver Sidney Rice went in the second round of the Vikings.
Yep, I remember him.
I absolutely loved this guy. I thought he was so good. Definitely a first-round guy. And he went
to your credit. Here are his 2 years that they've got, 2005, 2006, 70, 11, 43, 13, 72, 10, 90, and 10. So 2 straight over 1,000-yard seasons, 2 straight double-digit touchdown years. So, to your credit, he had a couple good seasons, and he had a few minutes where he was all right in the NFL, but again, obviously did not live up to, he had 1 year where he had 83 catches. That was by far his high point. But it just didn't quite work out to that extent for him. Good year.
He's probably the reason that I didn't root. I was like, nope. I was not a fan of Alshon Jeffrey. You remember that? I was like, I don't like this guy at all.
Yeah. A little PTSD still.
Yep. And then the number 1 spot, I got over my wide receiver nervousness apparently because 2019, my guy Deebo Samuel, another second round pick. How did he go?
Deebo's not a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a weapon.
He is. He's an offensive weapon.
Yeah, second round pick to the Niners. At least you can vouch, that even though he went in the second round, he was my number 1 guy from South Carolina, hands down. Huge fan. Far.
Starting off with a whiff for the Oklahoma Sooners, who are in the SEC for some reason. 2004, do you remember Tommy Harris?
Yes.
Sports Illustrated cover, all of that was going to be the next great defensive lineman for the Chicago Bears. I was stoked when he got taken there, even though he was a first rounder. And no, but I liked him. He was great, but he wasn't quite at the same level as some of the other guys. 2020, CeeDee Lamb has such a good career for Oklahoma. And again, he's obviously had a good career in the pros, so no complaints there for him. 2018, which I realize is your debate. You said that I liked this guy better than Lamar. I still think I liked Lamar better than him, but I did like both. These are my 2 favorite quarterbacks that year. I cannot say Josh Allen was 3 for me, behind the Bake Show and Lamar.
Crazy.
Baker Mayfield, still on my list of quarterbacks I'd love to go have a drink with. If I could hang out with Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew, and Lamar Jackson, which would be the funniest 3-person grouping ever, just because I just don't know personalities how they mesh.
Dude, if I did 3, I'd probably take 2 of those, but I'd probably kick Lamar out and put Ryan Fitzpatrick in there.
Oh, well, no, I'm talking about current quarterbacks. But yeah, Fitzy would definitely be on the list. Fitz, and because of the groupings, Fitz would be on the list of people who are talking heads in the NFL that I could talk to nowadays. Yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the kind of guy that if he said we're jumping through a table and doing a plunge into an ice lake, you'd be like, cool, let's go. Which one are we doing first?
Can I wear a life jacket?
That'll be fair for you. But yeah, again, Fitzy's not on this list because unfortunately I didn't think he was all that great coming out of college from Harvard, but certainly a great personality. Next up, though, in 2010, Trent Williams.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
Huge fan.
And again, until he had
he was better than I
with,
thought he was going to be, but I
thought he was
huge
very
on him.
good.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's insanely good.
He was transcendent. The only reason why he had a little bit of a hitch there was some injuries and Washington playing hardball with him because Washington doesn't know how to appreciate, or at least didn't used to know how to appreciate anyone.
He could almost be a top 6 tackle all time. I bet he's in the convo.
Sure, he is definitely in the conversation, but unfortunately, I wasn't that
I just never saw that coming. No,
not at that level. Because in fact, I have one offensive lineman ahead of him, and that's Lane Johnson. Which fair,
yep, I would have too.
Lane Johnson's spectacular, right? Number one for me though, annoyed me at the time, obviously because of where he went. But Adrian Peterson. Before the whacking a kid with a stick and all that kind of stuff happened, he was such a good running back in 2007. And again, obviously showed that because he's one of the only guys who's come back from an ACL and had the type of season he had. Not that people don't come back from ACLs. He came back from an ACL and ran for 2000.
Yeah, Jerry Rice was the first.
That doesn't happen,
I think.
Right? That doesn't happen. So Adrian Peterson, the probably only running back that's at the top of any of these groups, just given who's come out since then.
Yeah, right. Wasn't Stanford CMC would have been my top Stanford guy.
Well, for you, yeah, I didn't have CMC.
Oh, okay. All right, Tennessee. Was that why? Oh, that's why you got Ole Miss, because I wanted to be able to have banter with the boys in Tennessee, and I was like, I gotta stay closer. That's how you got them, because I needed to get Tennessee.
We made that trade before my dad moved to Tennessee, or else I probably wouldn't have given him up. So
probably not.
Alas, here we are.
All right, number 6. Dude, I had a wide range, but I had a lot of old guys from Tennessee, which kind of checks out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
From the late 90s. But 1999, 6-spot linebacker Al Wilson, first-round pick for the Broncos.
Nice.
You know I get these. I had a linebacker in every single six-pack for
darn
every
near
team.
it. Yeah, if you haven't,
I have.
Just because they didn't quite have the talent you were hoping for.
I think I have. 5-spot, 1998 as well. Cornerback Terry Fair went to the Detroit Lions. Was one of the last. You know how rare it was back then for me to be like, yes, a good pick. I loved that pick.
And he was good for a little while.
He was good for a little while. Actually, we did crack the joke and let pre-Darius Slay, maybe Bryant Westbrook, you have to go all the way back to him, right?
Yeah, basically once a decade, the Lions get it right with a corner. We're still waiting on this decade.
Yep. It's a good year for it.
It is a good year for it. We'll talk about that.
Hopefully, we won't be picking high enough for it.
You never know, though. There's enough of them.
4-spot, 2008. Guess what? Another linebacker, Gerard Mayo. Man, I was stoked when the Patriots got him.
Right.
I still remember sitting in Jeremy and Ryan's Woodside apartment in Mount Pleasant there when that draft happened, and I blew the roof off that complex. I was so excited.
You want to talk about, real quick, a coach that got done dirty was Gerard Mayo. He had zero talent for his 1 year with the Patriots. So somebody else give him a shot, please.
I agree with that. 3rd spot, man. I don't understand how this guy didn't do infinitely better, because look up his college stats for me. 2017 edge rusher Derek Barnett. He probably had like 30 sacks too. First-round pick for Philly. And then most people probably, a lot of people probably legitimately had him as... Yeah,
33 total sacks, 13 total sacks, 19 tackles for a loss. He had 52 tackles for a loss. And he did have a decent career in the NFL, just not.
It was just because he didn't have like the length and whatnot. He's really more of an outside linebacker. Yeah,
he was a sawed-off shotgun trying to play out there. I mean, he's 6'3", is what they have him listed as, but he just man, that is a good question, because he played for a while, but he just never quite cracked through. I don't know what it was. Maybe his moves that worked in college didn't work in the pros. I don't know.
Number 2, most people probably had him as number 1, and most are probably telling the truth. Some are probably lying and trying to use their NFL bias, but no.
Right.
1998, Peyton Manning, quarterback, first-round pick for the Colts. Yeah, he would not have been my number 1, because I thought Eric Berry was just...
I had a feeling.
Generational...
I was wondering.
2010 safety, first-round pick for the Chiefs. I was such a big
Eric
Berry fan.
Was that the start of your love affair with safeties?
Could have been. It was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I don't know what else to say. He probably had 74 interceptions in college as a safety. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had tons of tackles too.
Yeah.
Not really 74, but you get it.
But
I'm a huge fan.
Up there, right? Up there. All right, the Texas A&M Aggies, another team that's somehow now in the SEC, had a lot of names worth talking about, but there were only a few of them that I decided that I could sit back and say these are the guys that I liked. 2020, Nnamdi Madubuike coming out, third rounder, one of the few third rounders that came out, but he was such a weird blend of size, speed, etc. Like he still was under 300 pounds, but
yeah, you
just
saw the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. I did. I very much saw the ceiling, and he's been good. Right, he's had a very solid career, but it's just one of those. He's such a hard guy to scheme for properly on both sides of the ball. 2013, Luke Jokel, loved that guy coming out.
I did too.
Yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I did too.
I mean, he was okay in the pros, but clearly,
I think
by the fact that we're talking about him in the past.
What draft was that?
2013. And again, some of it's trying to pinpoint teams and players and etc. But he was again. I liked him coming out as a solid tackle prospect, and he played okay for Jacksonville for a while, not necessarily, top shelf. 2014, though, there's two guys, and this is at 4 and 3 for me. 2014, Mike Evans. I mean, come on. Dude was just chiseled to play wide receiver, and he did for a long time with Tampa, now obviously at San Francisco.
Let me throw two things at you. One, I had Jokel as my number 2 tackle in that class because I had Lane Johnson, but I remember I had Eric Fisher is number 3. I remember this being that crazy class.
It was a weird year, and fire up Chips getting the number 1 overall draft pick. But we both agreed. Look, we loved that Fisher got picked up at number 1 overall. We didn't love that.
No, he didn't deserve to go there.
No,
hell no. I think I had Lane Johnson as my top player in that whole draft.
I believe that.
But dude, the other tackle, how much did both of us hate DJ Fluker?
Oh man, we thought he was a fluke. The name said it all. But it was so easy.
The only other thing I was going to say is you got me on Mike Evans because I didn't think he was going to be anything.
No, he just had the height weight, man. No, he
just looked like he didn't care. I didn't realize that he was just so calm all the time that it wasn't that he didn't care.
He was just that at peace with everything that was happening.
The guy's good, but it doesn't even look like he's having any fun ever. Looks like he hates his job. It looks like he's punching a 9 to 5 clock, like get me out of here type thing. No,
instead he's the duck on the water, man. It's like calm on the surface and going nuts underneath, right? So next one up though, 2014, Jake Matthews, offensive tackle, ended up going to Atlanta.
The pedigree or lineage or whatever word you want to look for, that you had to like him.
Right, exactly. And
I did. I was a Bruce Matthews. His uncle was his dad. His brother.
It's a good family.
Good.
Yeah. But it's a good family. Number 2, though, pair of edge rushers at 2 and 1. Number 2, Von Miller, because Miller in college was super good, and again, very physical, very disruptive, but still not at the same level as number 1, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett. I mean, he's not an Avenger. He's like a Celestial. He's like some sort of god, small G. He's come down to play football.
Like, if Thor ever got to wear that glove thingy with the stones,
with the Infinity Gauntlet,
if Thor got to wear that, that's Myles Garrett.
It's nuts. It really is. And again, he's proven that throughout his career, so no doubt there. Who's your last team in the SEC?
Tejas. Man, I could have gone
so many some
deep for project. I'm not saying they all worked, but I could have gone 20 prospects that I just liked.
Easily.
This was so hard. So hard. All right, coming in at the 6th spot, it's a guy we already mentioned earlier, 2006 QB Vince Young.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Shame that the mental stuff didn't ever quite pan out for him because he was so talented, and he was a good quarterback. I want to remind people he won.
Yeah, he was.
He was 2 and 1 overall, like 27 and 12. He won twice as many games as he started, as he lost when he started. So it wasn't the talent wasn't the problem. He couldn't get his mind into the spot where he needed to be.
And the only reason he's not higher on the list is just because of that touchdown and interception ratio wasn't where I prefer it, but I could still he's one of those guys when you watch it and you're like, that guy can play football.
Yes.
Like
Both
he
sides
doesn't have the stats that I'm looking for, but he won games, and I watch him. I'm like,
he was at least 10 years early as well.
Probably.
Like if he would have come out in more of when the college offense
30 years too late.
One or the other. One or the other, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he just went in the only window where it wasn't going to work out.
Unfortunately, right?
So Pete, remember this guy? I think I had him up there. I think I said if Detroit didn't take Stafford, this was who I wanted if we decide not to go in on quarterback yet. Number 5, 2009, edge rusher Brian Arakpo.
Yeah, you loved him. I remember you talking about him all the time.
First round of Washington.
Number 4 spot. Year.
Yeah. Number 4 spot, 2006, safety Michael Huff, first round pick to the Raiders. And I was stoked for that one. I like that's my third favorite team for sure. 2007, continuing with another safety here, Michael Griffin, first round pick, Tennessee Titans, another stud pick. Second one, continuing the safety run, 2010. Man, they were it felt like every couple years they just had an even better safety. And I guess it'd be interesting what order they're in. This actually might be the order of how they were good too. That's tough.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
To figure out, but I have safety Earl Thomas, first round pick in the Seattle Seahawks.
8 interceptions as a senior. 8.
Why didn't they learn how many to have as a junior? Because I think he had picks throughout his whole career.
He didn't have as many. He only had 2 as a junior. So I think he was doing a little more center field work as a senior.
And then number 1, to put this as the first time that I would have done it for Stanford. I would not have done it for Oklahoma like you did. But I did it for Texas, man. Ricky Williams was something else.
He was
1999 running back, first round pick for the Saints. I don't know. He in my lifetime, because I was not old enough to watch any of the Barry Sanders.
You didn't watch Thurman or Barry
in college. No way. Like Ricky Williams was my number 1 running back prospect until Gene-T. And if I'm really thinking about it, it's still probably Ricky even over Gene-T just because it was Texas and not Boise State.
Well, and also Ricky, let me remind you, 1893, 6.8 a carry, 25 touchdowns. As a junior, 2,100, 5.9, 27 touchdowns as a senior.
Because I had CMC super high too. Because I had CMC, I think, above Gene-T too, but they were in the same category. Those are my top 3 running back prospects ever.
Fair. Yeah. There's
that I got to watch, not ever.
Right.
In my
in your window
lifetime.
And again, like I said, 98-ish. Window. And that's the thing too, is like it's a different game. 98, like he wasn't catching as many passes, they weren't throwing as many passes to running backs. So different dynamic. But yeah, and everybody remembers what Ricky Williams wearing a wedding dress with Mike Dick on the cover of Sports Illustrated because Dick got traded his entire draft class for Ricky Williams.
All 7 rounds.
That's an oops when you look back on it.
And lit a cigar and went home. Didn't even want to trade in or watch the rest of the draft. No. Nothing. He was done. He's like, I got Ricky. I'm out.
Because Ricky was going to be that good. The problem is he didn't have enough of a team around him. That wasn't Ricky's fault. Last team we're going to talk about, rip through them. Vanderbilt Commodores. This was a struggle. Super struggle. Super duper freaking struggle.
There's one guy. I'm not going to say his name right now, but he would have.
I think we both had one guy we liked. I don't know if it's the same guy or not. So it should be fun to see.
Go ahead.
If it lines up, I'm going to rip through them, dude.
I got 2.
I had one that I really liked, and then 1 or 2 more that I was okay with. So Keyshawn Vaughn, running back 2020. This gives you an idea of what we're working with.
This is dark.
It's a dark start. 3rd rounder. Jamie Winborn, linebacker, went to San Francisco in 2001.
Dark.
Exactly. 2nd rounder. Corey Chavis went to Arizona, 1998 corner, 2nd rounder. Casey Hayward, corner, 2012, went to Green Bay, 2nd rounder.
Wow.
That's my top. That's my 3 through 6.
That's scary.
Exactly.
So it tells me one of my 2 you don't have in your 6.
Okay. Well, 2 is Jordan Matthews.
You did. You got him. That was my
Philly,
guy.
2014 wide receiver, was very good, not great,
Jerry Rice's
very good
nephew.
Exactly. That's probably one of the reasons why we both liked him. Number one, though, and this is for me clearly number one. Loved this guy coming out. Still wish his NFL career would have gone better. He had a good career, but not a great career. 2017 linebacker Zach Cunningham.
Yep. But
Really
I
liked
think I
him.
would have had I think I would have had Matthews 1 and Cunningham 2.
No, that's fine. But again, my point is, it was those two and a whole bunch of I had to stretch for it. Because Vanderbilt.
That's a rough one.
Look, Vanderbilt is in the SEC.
That's the toughest one. That's the toughest one out of any of them.
Now, to Vanderbilt's credit, they have had more guys drafted than SMU or Duke, but not by a lot. Because I joke, Vanderbilt is in the SEC.
Even Kentucky was easier.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say
my hardest one, I still think, is Auburn.
No, that's probably right. But
that's
I would say
crazy.
Vanderbilt. I say Vanderbilt's in the SEC because they raised the academic pedigree a bit, right? It's so rough for them. Now I'm hoping they're turning a corner with Clark Lea that they'll be able to be at least a mid-level force. I mean, they just picked up a 5-star quarterback recruit who might not be starting this year, but will be next year. And so the arrow's pointing up for Vanderbilt. But up until 2021, it was dark, man. It was rough. It's funny that we had Texas who had so many players. Vanderbilt had so few. Right, top 6, dude. 6 was tough for me. It was a toss-up between A.J. Brown and Champ Bailey, but I had to put Champ in there, as much as I liked A.J. And then the rest of them, I'm not going to do this in order because I think it'd be rude to everybody involved. It's some combination of Julio Jones, Matt Stafford, Patrick Peterson, Patrick Willis, and Myles Garrett. And let's be honest, Willis, Garrett, and Peterson are probably the top 3 of that group, and then Julio, Stafford, and Bailey are fighting for the 4, 5, 6 spot.
I think I would have 5 of the same 6. I don't know if Stafford would have made it or not.
I know, because you're a hater.
Probably would have. I'm going to attempt to do mine in order. Number 1, mostly due to positional value. It's probably the freak, probably Javon Curse.
Sure.
Then I would have to go to Ricky Williams because I was that big of a fan. It was crazy.
He was transcendent.
Then I would have to go to Eric Berry.
Mm-hmm.
Man, now we're getting tough with the last 3. I don't know. I'll just read it. I'll try to guess them in the order I would have said it, but I guess I'll just factor in positional. So I guess 4 would have been Deebo Samuel from South Carolina, and then you know what the values. I don't know how you. I guess most people would say safety above it, but I'm gonna say 5 was Sean Weatherspoon. And then 6 was Earl Thomas going back to Texas.
Oh, okay. I would have Earl higher than that personally, but yeah. I will say this for Ricky Williams, by the way.
I'm just guessing it. Like, I'm wondering about Takeo Spikes and Derek Brown. They were close.
They were. They could have been in there. The 2 guys you like from Auburn.
Your SEC teams had more studs than mine.
Well,
for sure.
Yeah, but I also had more stinkers because I had freaking Vanderbilt in there. And I will say this, though, real quick.
Texas and nothing.
For Pretty Ricky, had a 10,009 total yards rushing in the NFL. So, I mean, the man was not a bust, but it was such a weird dynamic, and he didn't...
Imagine if he didn't go to India and take his little vacation, too.
Well, he took his vacation because they wouldn't let him smoke as much as he wanted to in the NFL at the time.
Yeah.
Pretty Ricky was ahead of his time when it came to the ganj. There's no doubt about that. He might be able to get away with a little more than he did, but the man still had an 1,100-yard season at 32. So Ricky Williams was that talented, right? Also, by the way, you know what his name is? Eric Lynn Williams.
Where did Ricky come from?
I'm guessing from Eric. They went with Ricky off of Eric.
Huh?
So the Rick part. Yeah, the Rick part got turned into Ricky, I guess. But yeah, again, I want to remind everybody, Ricky Williams was one heck of a running back. Also one heck of a tortured soul, if you will, when it comes to the NFL. All right, let's wrap it up. We're almost at an hour and a half. So why don't you tell me which bourbon won? We were expecting the SEC and the Big Ten are going to be our longest shows with this. That's why I timestamped this stuff.
Well, I will say this. Dude, this was a tough one. It's essentially a tie. I think it could change from any given day.
Ooh.
So I had to really come up with a reason of why I chose the one I chose. I chose Glass A.
You went with the raisin.
Before I did, and before I looked to see what it is, I chose it. So I think I like that.
So you still don't know which one it is?
No. Okay, I do think I like the oaky orange notes better as a whole than the notes I got on Glass A, which had like the raisin and
Right.
the vanilla, marshmallowy, oaky,
Which,
tobacco
for most
vibe.
people, both of those are really fun notes. So
Yes. But the reason I chose the first one is exactly that. While I didn't like the core notes better, it seemed like it had a hell of a lot. It was way more of a ride. Like I was picking up way different things. Like the Glass B just had like a couple notes that I really enjoyed and more so than the first one. But the first one was just like, there's a lot. It's layered. I'm getting different things, and it was just a better experience. So I think I lean that way, but it's close.
Those are two different windows because, like, you and I both prefer the ride where you'd get a bunch of different things. Some people prefer the you did one thing, you did it well, and I've got that note, and I'm good. I don't have to worry about all this extra junk. I can just enjoy that one thing. So this is, again, very subjective. But go ahead. Which one ended up winning?
All right. Should I just go for first place or reveal a second?
Well, I mean, we're going to know, so go for it.
Glass A is the EH, and that surprises me because I didn't think I would. Wow, now it makes me think I labeled them wrong. Wouldn't you think that the more complex and where you're getting more notes would be the one that is stated as a 10-year-old one?
Not
and the one that would be more the
though.
simplistic notes is the one that didn't have the age statement?
Yeah, but again, sometimes the extra years end up just kind of mushing themselves together a bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
It's essentially, I do think that either one could win on this.
Look, it doesn't surprise me that the Colonel ended up winning, though, because I know you're a huge fan of him. So
I am, but the barrel proofs are my Colonel thing.
Well,
the rest, I'm not, it's not my favorite. I like it a lot.
Well, it won against Eagle Rare today. So for those of you who are looking for a bottle, grab one of those two. Just know that you're going to be happy either way. You might slightly overpay either way, but you'll be in good shape. Next up, it's the Big Ten, and you better believe we're going to push an hour and a half on that one too. Just a little heads up for everybody. We'll catch you next time with Draft Track.